I just got back from China last week. They're not scared, folks. This notion they're going to come bow to America, I wouldn't count on that.
Your taxi truck, your taxi chair, Midwest burning, your dumpster fire.
China's English language broadcaster produced this video blaming Trump's tariffs for U.S. inflation and global instability. The video echoes Beijing's official stance. Since the U.S. imposition of the unilateral tariff measures, it has not resolved any of its own issues, she says, and has instead severely undermined the international economic and trade order.
Oh, that's gotta hurt!
I mean, who could have seen this coming, right? After such reassuring comments from chief propagandists Scott Bessent and Caroline Leavitt, reassuring the American people that trade talks with China were moving swiftly along, right?
Reuters was reporting that there is a letter that is meant to be sent to other countries, which would give these countries a deadline of Wednesday to produce their best offer on the trade matter. Why does the administration feel the need to send this letter? And I have one more follow-up on trade.
Sure, I can confirm the merits in the content of the letter. USTR sent this letter to all of our trading partners just to give them a friendly reminder that the deadline is coming up. And they are in talks. Ambassador Greer, Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick are in talks with many of our key trading partners around the globe. As you know, Brian, I know the Wall Street Journal has covered this quite heavily, and they continue to be engaged in those discussions. And this letter was simply to remind these countries that the deadline is approaching and the president expects good deals, and we are on track for that, I will emphasize.
Have you underestimated the Chinese state's backbone here?
Again, Margaret, I hope it doesn't come to that. And Jamie's a great banker. I know him well, but I would vociferously disagree with that assessment that the laws of economics and gravity apply to the Chinese economy and the Chinese system, just like everyone else.
Well, it is moving, just not in favor of the United States. So it appears that Donald Trump is really leaning into that new nickname, as news broke that he decided to extend his tariff pause on China indefinitely.
Was Googled with Donald Trump on Thursday it was taco. It was taco. Indeed, get this, the terms Trump and taco Googled together up through the roof. Get this, 9,900% increase on Thursday versus Tuesday. So if you are wondering whether or not this Trump always chickens out and the acronym taco actually has entered the mainstream, well, Google gives it away. It 100% has. And this to me is quite troubling for Donald Trump because obviously he trades on his name. He trades on the idea that he does what he says. And if all of a sudden you're associating Trump always chickens out with Donald Trump, well, that is no bueno.
So if you're negotiating and creating deals, they're trying to present it as chickeny.
And the Wall Street Journal started it, actually. The Wall Street Journal is at war with the president when it comes to tariffs.
Yeah, but it's also, respect to them, but they're also wrong when it comes to this right
Absolutely.
now. The president is getting the best deal for the American people right now. You've already starting to see it in the stock markets as well. You see the manufacturing that's being brought back. You see the people that were traditional Democrats that are now on the Republican side of this because he's fighting for them.
He's brave. He's the bravest man in the world. And so they're thinking that using taco and the word chicken on Trump somehow is going to damage or put a dent in that Teflon image he has as a very brave person. Frankly, he is brave to take on tariffs. The way he's doing it with China, with all of them, it's working. And if he negotiates, well, that's what a deal is.
Now, this comes after China officials tore into Trump on Monday, accusing him of sabotaging his own trade negotiations. No, not this guy. Now, Trump had claimed Friday that China had, quote, totally violated the terms of the 90-day tariff pause that the two countries hammered out in Geneva at the start of last month. Taking to his usual microphone for diplomacy, Truth Social saying in a post he was done being, quote, Mr. Nice Guy. Well, it appears not, mate.
China's Xinhua news agency produced this AI animation featuring a robot named Tariff, programmed to impose trade restrictions.
I now choose death to end the harm.
Please, don't do this.
Goodbye, Dr. Mallory.
The robot self-destructs rather than obey orders to raise tariffs. AI-generated clips like these, showing Trump and Elon Musk hard at work in factories, have been flooding China's tightly controlled social media platforms for months, all untouched by Beijing's army of online censors. Designed to push China's narrative, the US is making a fool of itself, and more importantly, losing ground to China. in the global trade war President Trump started. China's foreign trade has been able to withstand the difficulties, he says, maintaining steady growth and showing strong resilience to maintain competitiveness on the international front. China's Bureau of Statistics put out numbers claiming exports are actually rising despite the trade war, partially due to a surge in orders before the tariffs kicked in. Outside observers often question the accuracy of China's numbers, which are impossible to independently verify. At this Chinese textile plant, the director says the U.S. no longer dominates their strategy. The trade war made me realize the U.S. is just a small part of the global market, he says. We'd rather bring Chinese products to the rest of the world, reasonably priced, high quality, and let more people benefit. China's top diplomat is also firing back, Wang Yi reportedly telling new U.S. Ambassador David Perdue the U.S.-China relationship's at a critical juncture. The Chinese readout of the meeting also says David Perdue stated that President Trump greatly respects President Xi Jinping. Far from tough talk, China claims, ahead of that likely crucial call between Trump and Xi.
I think that you should definitely have heightened vetting, especially in certain critical areas, because we know that the CCP tries to steal, for instance, intellectual property or worse. But the way that this is currently structured looks very, very suspicious. And you have to remember that the people that are cheering for this policy, what Marco Rubio had called for, is the Chinese Communist Party. Why? Because they want these people back. They want the scientists and the entrepreneurs and the engineers who can come and help their economy. And so we are probably helping them as well as other countries more than helping ourselves with this policy.
But this is just the latest ebb and flow in the sea of uncertainty, which is the current US economy. I mean, take the comments from his Treasury Secretary that was even hard for Brett Barr of Fox News to swallow.
And what about China, specifically China, and that obviously started in a different place? How can you characterize those talks now?
I would say that they are a bit stalled. I believe that we will be having more talks with them in the next few weeks. And I believe we may at some point have a call between the president and party chair Xi.
So stalled. There was a time when the president thought that was moving forward pretty significantly.
Again, I think that given the magnitude of the talks, given the complexity, that this is going to require both leaders to weigh in with each other. They have a very good relationship, and I am confident that the Chinese will come to the table when President Trump makes his preferences known.
And then you compare them to what Caroline Leavitt is saying on the regular, and it's clear that nobody actually has a clue what's going on. I mean, just listen to Leavitt here. She performs some next level verbal gymnastics to say in the same sentence that she can confirm that they will likely both talk.
President Trump has talked about wanting to meet with President Xi for a long time. Kevin Hassett over the weekend previewed a possible conversation between the two of them, including possibly this week. Has that call been scheduled, and what is the president hoping to get out of that call with President Xi?
Well, sure. She asked about the potential call with President Xi. I can confirm that the two leaders will likely talk this week. And as always, when there are foreign leader calls, we will provide a readout of this call. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
That's not a confirmation. The only thing that is confirmed is that his nickname is fitting.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.